Hello guys, Sir here. Today is Pure Fiction Reset Day, which is one of my favorite endgame modes in Honkai Star Rail. Arguably my favorite endgame mode, because it feels a little bit like an idle game where some of my characters really shine compared to others. And this is the first time in these 20 and change years of playing Honkai Star Rail that I started to feel a little bit of power creep in some of the game mechanics and the enemies, because it's the first time since the inception of these kind of enemies that I couldn't get max points against these combination of enemies using Himeko and Herta. But by Herta, I'm talking about the 4-star Herta. Because this kind of enemy composition for me has always been a free 40,000 points using a team that looked a bit like. Let's remove this just for a second. I would put Himeko, I would put 4-star Herta. Here, usually run Mei, usually, and then the healer would be Huo because that's who I had. If not Huo, then what's her face? Fu Xuan. And this is a team that against Argenti and his pals consistently gave me 40k. Not this time. This is the first time ever that I couldn't make it past 20,000 and change. Unfortunately. Now, with these two teams, on the other hand, meaning you use the quantum damage dealer against an enemy weak to ice and physical, and the lightning damage dealers against enemies that are weak to imaginary and quantum, then things go much better, just as the game designers plan the game out to be. I believe there is basically no sound from the game. I will increase the volume of the game a little bit so that while I let the autoplay gods help me to clear this thing, I can talk nonsense. Let me check the volume of the in-game stuff. Yes, it's about okay. It's about okay. I was really surprised. Honestly surprised. I don't usually talk about power creep and changes in the enemy's hit points and game mechanics because it's never really relevant. Like, oh no, the enemies has an extra 10% hit points, and it doesn't matter. No one cares. 'Cause, our characters are getting stronger, new characters are getting stronger, so there is a bit of balance in there. But I was unironically shocked when I set Himeko and Herta on the loose, and I went to the toilet because it's morning for me, and I went to the toilet to give birth to a chocolate cake and all the sort of morning action. And I came back to my computer, and Herta Himeko got 23,000. So even below the amount of points that are needed to get the max points for the Jades, which by the way didn't give me an extra Hyachin. I'm very upset with that. That's the reason why I decided to record it and talk about it a little bit, because it was absolutely the first time. Every single rotation that the enemies were weak to ice and fire, Himeko Herta would give me 40k points. With no exception, like no variance, no input required by yours truly, the build didn't matter, and to the point that I had to go to the character screen to check, wait, does Himeko have the light cone, does Herta have the relics, and they did, the builds were fine. Not super optimized, because if I wanted to do some mega optimization, I would have to transfer relics from Acheron to Himeko and from someone else to that's a lot of work. I refuse to do that in general, but especially in the morning is not an option. I don't do those try hard cringe showcases because they don't give me much joy. So yeah, will I ever recover from this? Probably not. Probably not. I find it especially silly that the best character that I have for the first half week to basically everything but Quantum is Castrise, who I still believe she's overtuned. Heavily overtuned. Both her and her team. Speaking of her team, you may notice a random Runmei here. She's actually very competitive for me with Harmony, Remembrance Trailblazer. The results between the two are pretty much the same in most game modes. But when one of the two has an advantage, it's always Run May. Because Run May, well, my Run May is Eidolon 2. You may remember, if you don't, let me enlighten you. On her original banner, I was trying to get Shuei, and in less than 70 pools, I got 3 copies of Shuei and 3 copies of Runmei. So my Runmei is extremely good for general use, not just in break teams, which I do not play. I absolutely refuse to play that nonsense. So she's extremely comparable to Remembrance main character, arguably better. I think I should have used Daker on Ultimate, but whatever. Why is Kafka here? For a very meta reason. The first time that I tried to clear the first half with a team that was not Himeko Herta, I used this team. And I let Castorice stay in the second half. And I thought, well, Acheron, Jiao Chu, Huo, sure, who should be the number 4 character in the team? Because usually here I have another buffer like Sunday, but Sunday is Gigacope. Maybe if I use Kaffa, she can help clean up the nonsense on screen. She can help Acheron you build stacks. Sounds pretty good, let's do it. And they didn't get the max points. They were like 30,000 and change. So better than Himeko Herta, but still not 40k. And so I simply swapped the teams around. I'm sure that here in the second half there could be better options than Kafka, but out of laziness, pure sheer unadulterated laziness, I let Kafka stay there. She's pretty good, she's getting buffed. The buffs are interesting because they change her role from a pure damage dealer to a support damage dealer, which is probably good long term. Because you cannot have the first DOT character being the best, mechanically speaking, DOT character forever. It's not a very good game design. And by making her more of a support character while also being a damage dealer, it means that new DOT damage dealers can power creep her in terms of raw damage, but she will still be useful thanks to her ability of triggering DOT. The one who is really getting shafted is Hover Mommy, Black Swan, but someone needs to get shafted. There is no way around it. I'm sure there will be some team with Kafka, Hover Mommy, a new DOT character, and Ho or whoever, but DOT is not in a very good spot at the time. Really not. Feels a bit bad. Today, by the way, is the day in which we're getting, at any moment in time, we should be start to see leaks about Zenless Zone Zero, the new characters. The new patch of Zenless Zone Zero completely bamboozled me. Absolutely bamboozled me. Because I was 100% expecting Orphe to be there. Orphe is the Chimera girl. And instead, it looks like she's being pushed to the next patch. Which, on one hand, it saddens me because I really like her design. I want to get her. On the other hand, it's more pulls for her when she comes around 2 patches from now. And the raccoon red hat girl is very cute. She is a raccoon, and she's a support. She's our second limited 5-star support, which is going to be a must to pull, unless her kit is extremely suspicious, but I doubt they're going to botch the second limited support character released in Zenless Zone Zero. And my highest hope is that she will be an anomaly support, specific for anomaly teams. Because that means that I could play her in teams with Jane Doe, and it would make me extremely happy. I doubt it will happen because Anomaly received a lot of love during the 1.x cycle, and even giving an Anomaly support to someone like Miyabi will be a little bit overkill. If I had to guess, she's going to be a Rapture support, but we shall see. It's literally a matter of hours, if not minutes, because it's 9 a.m. Most of the testing is done around the Shanghai time zone, so more or less. But you know, it takes time to actually start the beta. Maybe it will start later today. I don't know. We shall see. But I will definitely be sharing everything that I find. Now we're already multiple minutes into the video. Mihoyo is not going to check this far into the video. He's Grindel leaking information. Is he going to share secret illegal details? No, they don't care anymore. They check the first 5 seconds of the video and they're thinking, oh, this moron is talking nonsense while clearing pure fiction on autoplay. GG, well done. And they look away, and so we're free to talk about leaks and all the rest of the stuff that Mihoyo doesn't want you to know about. By the way, I'm able to record and do everything at home today because I woke up with a bit of fever. It's the kind of very small fever that is just annoying enough that you cannot go to work. But it's not even that. I'm laying on the bed, essentially dying or anything like that. I think I will not even go to the doctor. The kind of really small fever, typical of early summer when there is the air condition on a bit too long at night. It happens. It's unfortunate, but our air condition points at me during the night. So when it's really hot and we need to keep it on, I'm the one who takes the brunt of the cold. It's usually fine, but last night I slept, turned around in the wrong direction, and the quilt fell away from me, and all the stars combined to essentially make me lose a day of work. Not a big deal, just slightly annoying. Yeah, 80k with teams that are not exactly designed for this, but it is what it is. Who is this designed for, by the way? Physical. Is Paimon physical? I don't remember. I don't care about the guy because he has the most boring design I've seen from any 5-star. Outside of a meteor animation. That one looks really neat. And I will show the characters here like this so that I don't need to go to make character cards later. Nothing has changed from the last showcase. This is Castorize, her traces, almost Omega Max. This one, I don't like to leave it at 1. It really bothers me to leave it at 1, I don't know why. But you should never use the normal attack with Castorize, like this should stay at 1. If you use normal attacks with Castorize, you should read her kit. And her build in general is pretty okay, apart from this. I have really multiple boots with double crit, and I keep failing to get multiple crit damage rolls. It's unfathomable. This is the most crit damage I can get from any boots for her, and it's annoying because this is not very good. She's overcapping crit rate significantly, and crit damage could be a bit higher, but whatever, it's not too bad. And Eidolon too. Romeo, I've shown her a million times. It's like this. 3B, she's getting her around soon. Next patch, we're getting her Lightcon because Dance is good, but at least in this team it feels like bait. Because you think, wow, I'm doing the action forward thing to all my characters. I misclicked. To all my teammates. Yeah, sure, you're action forwarding Castorize, who has a self-action forward, and you are fast forwarding Hyachin, who has 25 million speed, and her ultimate and other things recharge by themselves. It's really bait in this team. If you're using a different team, if your trip is in a different team, I'm sure Dance is going to be great. But in this team, no. I want to get her own Lightcon. And here my Hyachin, on which I'm working, her relics are a little bit cope. I Gigamax there because she deserves it. I don't believe I've ever used a normal attack, but I really like Hyachin and Little Ika. I'm working on her relics. Unfortunately, we're not going to reach the Eidolon free dream. It's virtually impossible. The banner ends in 1 day, 1 day and a half, and I currently have 0 pulls. Every single pulse that I got up until now, I dropped it on Hyachin's banner. I got Eidolon 1, but that's it. By the way, there is no breakpoint about Eidolon 3. I just want the image of Little Ika because even my daughter likes him a lot. So I was really hoping to make it there. What was the other team? Oh, the other team was Acheron. Acheron with a few Eidolons. The build, I've not touched it in a long time. It's always the same. Kafka, always the same. I wonder if I'm still number one on Sillyland. I have not changed the relics since forever, so I really doubt she's still number one. Who else was in the team? I think it was Jiao Chu, yeah. Jiao Chu. Traces are like this. Sometimes I change his build around a little bit. Because occasionally I will swap these two pieces for pieces from the 6% set. No, it's not this one. It's this set. I will give him effect hit rate chest and speed boots, speed whatever from that set just to have him even faster. But it usually only happens in teams where I use Hanabi. Because Hanabi is very fast and I want him to act before Hanabi. Who else was there? Oh, my beloved Huo Huo, who is having a little bit of rest recently thanks to Yashin. For every team that... No, wait. No. For most teams, Huo Huo is still better. For Castrais, you definitely want Yachin. For her, it's close. For her, it's really, really close. I guess that the way to find out whether Huo Huo or Yachin is better is, does her attack buff impact your clears more than Hyachin building extra stacks? Because if during the course of a fight the extra stacks don't allow you to use an extra ultimate, then Huo Huo is better. If they do, Hyachin is better. And if Huo Huo's extra attack and energy generation for the other teammates allow you to clear faster, then Huo Huo is better than Hyachin. If you have either of the two, you're fine with Acheron. Acheron is absolutely glorious. In general, personally, I slightly prefer Yachin for her. Just slightly. But that comes from someone with a solid build, not amazing, but solid and Eidolon 6. I don't know what she plays like because on day one, thanks to very lucky pulse, I was at Eidolon 3, so I don't even know what it's like to play Eidolon 0 Acheron. Anyway, that was all for the current cycle of Pure Fiction, plus some nonsense from yours truly. And what's the next? Please tell me the next one isn't going to be the S again. It should be Pure, the Forgotten Hall, right? Yeah, thank God. The next one is Memory of Chaos. Thank God. That one is bearable. Bye, guys. Take care.